Hello everyone. Let me explain a few functions of the bot and what we need to pay attention to. So, let's get started here. For the trading pair, there's even capital involved here. A1 stands for asset 1, so in this case, it's Bitcoin, and A2 stands for asset 2, which could be dollars, for example. Then you can enter it here, and then I'll have Bitcoins. You enter that here in this line, and then you need to pay attention to how you set the commas. Specifically, you have A1 standing, which is Bitcoin, so let's go to the home page, and there you can see at the trades at the agency how many decimal places Bitcoin is traded at Binance, which would be, for example, 5 places here. So, for a 1, you absolutely need to enter 5 decimal places. And the price here is set at, these decimal places are more or less referring to dollars. They're not that important, you can make them here, for example, to make it a bit fine. But these places need to be strictly observed after we've distributed the capital. Always back to Bitcoin, I'll show you here after we've distributed the capital. You can see the price of Bitcoin here, and then you have the basic price. You can enter a price yourself, or you press L calculation and then the price is loaded, which is there. Then you need to decide how far you want the intervals to be. For example, I set it to 1% down and 1% up. Then you press calculation here, and it's all automatically calculated. Now you might ask, why are there more percentages here? I can explain that very clearly. For example, let's say we start with a basic price of $100, and we would now trade 10% and return 10%. If you subtract 10%, you'd be at $90. Then that would be the new trading price. But if you add 10%, you'd be at $99, and that would cause the ladder to shift. And to prevent that, you press the PKL button once, and then it's automatically calculated what value is needed to return to the original value. So much for that. Then there's the capital input here. What you want to buy, for example, for $20 and sell for $20. And that's it. You can press start, and then it starts. The bot also has a simulation function. You can press simulate here once, and then everything is simulated. Let's say I go back to 1%, for example. This example, okay? We've entered everything so far. That fits. Always make sure everything is okay. Then just press start. Here you have the time. When the price is fetched, let me lower that a bit, so because of the simulation. You can also simulate the price here. You have to press this button and switch to red. Then you'll see that the price is no longer fetched. Then you can enter a price here yourself. Let's say we just want to add the price now, so we enter it here. Press F. How much? Then the price is simulated here, or was filled in. And the trigger price is then the new basic price. From the basic price, it's calculated again 1% back and 1% up. That solves it once, or as an example, once film says add or was triggered. So much for that. Then you still have the option. But the boxes here need to be green at level 1. You can simulate multiple trades at once. If you want to check, sometimes lower the time, you're now simulating 5 trades at once. Then you have 2 buttons here. Make 1 up and 1 down, so then you get 5 up. And if, for example, you want to make 7 sets up, then it simulates 7 up. So much for that. Then here you have a counter, which starts at white, and that's the total trades that have been made. Just as much about that. Then I'll explain another function to you. You have this here. With this you can simulate how far the capital would reach. Once you've entered all the values here, press call once, and then it calculates how long you would last with it. So many Bitcoins you would buy per hour would always increase, because the price of Bitcoin is falling further and further. Those would be the Bitcoins you would have, of course, increasing as well. Those would be the dollar value of the Bitcoins at this price. That would be the dollars you would have. You would have traded $20 each time. So now it's always dollar less. That's the percentages based on the basic price, that and that. And that would be the number of rounds. So you see here with $250, you could trade down these rounds, and now you would have the price of. And you could, of course, also calculate the opposite direction. The values are the same, and there you can see we would now have enough Bitcoins to get up to $31,000, and so you would currently have to deposit capital every time you want to do that. There is another field here where you can place your mouse if you turn off the monitor, because you have to make sure that if you leave the mouse pointer and then turn off the monitor, and then come on the keyboard, then you get an error message, then it crashes. Always make sure to turn off the mouse pointer here. If you occasionally close the window here, because if you let it fill up too much, then the bot might crash at some point if you run it for days. So occasionally just press clear. Then you have a docu button here. As soon as the trades are made, you get information from the request from the respond. If you don't necessarily want to watch that and only want the most necessary messages, you can switch the docu to red. Then you only get the most important information displayed. Definitely check out the YouTube channel where we get all necessary informations to run the bot. Feel free to subscribe and leave a like. I wish you all a nice day.